Creating a customer journey can be one of the most powerful exercises you can do in your business to improve your marketing results. Unfortunately, the way most companies are creating their customer journeys ends up being a complete waste of time and resources. They end up becoming overly reliant on pure guesswork being presented in a marketing meeting and then never used again. But when done the right way, your customer journey should be a highly actionable document that you can use to create a powerful and repeatable system for your business to turn a cold audience who don't know about you or your brand into paying customers and eventually loyal advocates for your business. So in this video, I'm going to show you a practical and easy method of doing exactly that, as well as some tangible examples that you can use and replicate from both the B2B and D2C spaces. So let's get straight into it. Okay guys, so I'm going to link to a copy and a template of these documents in the description below this video. So once the video is finished, you can check these out and you can start implementing these strategies and tactics for yourself today. But firstly, I'm just going to walk you through exactly how this works and the process you want to go through to creating a customer journey for your business. So the first stage of the customer journey is how are we getting a cold audience who doesn't know about our business or brand to find out about us. So this is what we'd call the discover stage. So whether this be through social media, whether it be through search channels, whether it be through forums, how are we getting in front of our target audience with content that meets them where they're at that early stage in the buyer journey, when they know that they've got a pain, but they don't necessarily know that our solutions exist or we're even able to help them. This is an example here of a software company called Xero. So their target audience is split into multiple different segments. They are selling to both accountants who can ultimately become resellers of their software, but they're also selling to the small business owners, small to medium sized business owners. And this can be in all sorts of different sectors and segments, depending on what type of business they have. So they have a very, very full-fledged marketing campaign with lots and lots of different personas and different entry points for each customer avatar. And it's important to say that when you're putting these documents together, you will want to break this down firstly by the persona. So in this instance, we've got a persona here that we're calling Dropship Debbie, and you'll see why in a second. The channel we're then using to find Dropship Debbie is through Google, and the medium is organic. So organic traffic, organic search. So this is when Debbie's going onto Google and she's typing in and trying to find solutions to this problem that she is experiencing. Now, that's not to say that's the only way we can get in front of Debbie. We can also use socials as well, and I'll show you an example of this with another business in a sec, but this is just one of the channels that we have chosen here. So you'll see how this works is we've got our customer avatar here. So Dropship Debbie, let's say she's looking to start a dropshipping business and she's in the very early stages and she's looking to try and find, like, how can I find a supplier for my business? So what Xero has cleverly done here, they've created a bit of content around how to find dropshipping suppliers in the UK. And they then are ranking in Google organically for this piece of content. What they could also do here, if they didn't want to wait for this piece of content to rank organically, or if you're a new business and maybe it's going to take a little bit of time for Google to start taking notice of your website, you can also put a bit of paid budget behind this keyword in a Google search campaign to begin driving traffic to your website and beginning this journey. So you'll see here at the discover stage, Dropship Debbie has gone onto Google. She's typing in dropshipping suppliers UK to begin that search. She then comes across this Xero article, whether this be through a paid ad, whether it be through those organic rankings, and she's then come through to the website. So now at this stage, this is our opportunity to really build trust with Debbie and show her that we know what we're talking about and can really begin to build that trust and authority so that she's willing and ready to take that next step with us. So some of the key KPIs we'll want to track at this stage to make sure we don't have a bottleneck here are going to be things like the engagement rate on this page by looking at our Google Analytics, the average pages visited, like has she been clicking around our website and looking at other pages, the time on page, the scroll depth. You'll be able to unlock additional insights like these by using some form of visitor behavior analytics tools. So something like Microsoft Clarity, which is completely free and can track unlimited visitors, or things like Hotjar, Lucky Orange. They really allow you to get very granular insights with how people are interacting with this page. So you can then begin to optimize this particular piece of content to making sure you're getting people to consume it. So we're then going to have significantly higher chances of somebody getting through to that next stage. And the next stage is where we're now going to introduce a call to action to get Debbie to sign up. Now, I've just put a little note on here to say that even this example with Xero, if you have a look at this particular blog post, there's a link here. Their primary call to action is to start using Xero for free. I actually think this could be significantly improved because people who are just looking for a dropshipping supplier, they don't know about Xero. They don't necessarily care about Xero at this stage. So a better call to action here would actually be something like, a free webinar that talks about how to set up your e-commerce business and maybe goes into finding dropshipping suppliers, but then also talks about the importance of accounting software where they can then bridge into Xero. Because at this stage, again, Debbie wasn't looking for accounting software. She was looking for a dropshipping supplier. When we know she can be a potential customer for us, but it's really important we are meeting Debbie where she's at this stage. So making sure you've got a contextual and relevant call to action to the piece of content somebody has landed on is really important here. And Xero will be able to increase their opt-in rate from this page by having a more contextually relevant call to action. Now, there may be some people who are also thinking about accounting software, happen to see this, and they will sign up from this as well. But if they want to increase their overall signups at this early stage, they would definitely want to have a more contextual call to action on this blog as well. So the KPI that we're going to want to be tracking here is ultimately going to be the conversion rate, right? What percentage of visitors coming through are we getting to sign up and take that next step? So another thing we can start doing here is running A/B tests on this page, testing and experimenting with different call to actions, with different lead magnets to see where we're getting the best signups. And this is really, really important, and why it's critical you're setting your KPIs at each stage of the journey, because this is what's going to allow you to systematically go through your customer journey and find where the key blockers are and why you're not getting the results you want from your marketing campaign right now. Whether that be at the traffic side, so we're just not getting visibility on the content. Maybe it's at the connect stage where people are just bouncing off our blog straight away, or our piece of content, our homepage, wherever it is we're sending them to. So we know we need to optimize that piece of content. Or maybe we're seeing we've got really great engagement. People are navigating through our website, but we're just not getting signups. So this is where we might want to experiment with different calls to actions, maybe lower intent CTAs versus the higher intent ones like buy now, sign up for a trial, etc. So this is where breaking these KPIs down and then knowing what are the levers you can pull to start experimenting and measuring with this become really, really important. I'm going to link to this in the description as well, but you can come through here at each of the steps and list out those KPIs that you've set and begin tracking these month on month so you can start to see where those bottlenecks are. So you'll see here, for example, we've got the discover stage. So you're going to put in the KPIs here. So maybe this is impressions, maybe it's view rate, maybe it's click-through rate. The connect stage, maybe this is engagement rate or scroll depth. You're then going to put in the sources. So where are you pulling this information from? So for example, in this case, maybe it's like Meta, maybe it's Google Ads. At the connect stage, maybe this is Microsoft Clarity or Hotjar or Google Analytics. So you and your team know where to go to actually find these metrics. You're then going to plug in the monthly actuals each month here. You can then start setting yourself some monthly targets as well. So you know, are we on track towards hitting the goals that we need to hit each month? And you're basically going to have your lead and lag indicators, right? So the lead indicators are going to be getting these first initial stages of the customer journey performing well. The lag indicators are then going to be where we now start seeing those sales and those conversions and those ascension stages coming through. So you'll want to make sure that you're tracking each of these individually. We can then also set a status each month. So are we on track towards our targets, or are we in the green? Are we stagnating, so we're not really moving? Or are we actually declining and going in the opposite direction? So then you can very quickly see at a glance which of these stages, like if you see, for example, the discovered stage is in all green, we're going in the right direction, but the connect stage is all in red, we know that's where we need to focus, and that's where we need to start running some experiments. So again, if we're seeing that people are bouncing off the page straight away, we know maybe we need to start experimenting with different content on the page, maybe changing some of the images, maybe looking at some of the session recordings and heat maps to understand where is it we're actually losing people. So this is what's going to allow you to take that customer journey you've mapped out and now start really making sure that this is actually working for you, identifying where the bottlenecks are and making sure you're getting the best results possible from your marketing. Now, another thing that's important to consider here, because this is a fairly complex decision implementing accounting software into your business, it's fair to assume that most people aren't going to be ready to sign up for a trial with Xero straight away. So let's say in this example where, they don't have a lead magnet right now. Well, one of the other smart things that Xero have done is they put a retargeting pixel on this website. So when people come through to this page, they can then run retargeting ads across platforms like Google, YouTube, Facebook and Instagram and the Meta platforms, TikTok, or any other platforms where they have that retargeting pixel on there. So they're then staying front of mind and they can nurture Debbie over time with relevant content and relevant kind of hooks and things for her to think about to then bridge her back into actually signing up for a trial with Xero. This is a really, really critical step that most businesses forget about. So you're driving traffic to your website, but you have to remember most of the people who come through, around 97 to 98% of those people who hit your website, they may well be customers at some point, but they're not going to be ready to book a call, to take that action, to buy from you straight away. So having these ways that you can follow up with people, whether that be through email campaigns, through a lead magnet, or at least through some retargeting campaigns, is really important. So here's another example here where if they then were to get an email opt-in from Debbie, from her signing up to a webinar or some form of lead magnet, they can then nurture her with other content over time. So you'll see they've got a bunch of free resources on their website with like free balance sheets, free business continuity plans where people can opt in for that. And this is another way that they can get people onto their email list, right? So again, this could be another potential start to that customer journey. Whereas if I'm going on to Google and typing in free balance sheet template or how to calculate a balance sheet, they can then provide me that content, build that trust, build that credibility, show that they're an expert, they know what they're talking about, get me to download that. And then I come into the email list where they can eventually, again, build that relationship further before eventually getting me to sign up for a free trial as that initial action. So in this particular instance with Xero, one of the key elements at the Excite stage, because they're bridging people into a free trial, so they're not actually paying for anything at this stage, Excite step is very, very important. And one of the things that a lot of software companies in particular will think about, but this can apply to any industry, is having a North Star metric. So for example, I think it was Facebook or Twitter back in the day found that if people follow, I think it was around 5 or 6 of their friends on the platform, they were significantly more likely to stay active on that platform. Whereas if people weren't to connect with any of their friends upon signing up, then they would just never come back again. So having that North Star metric and really looking at the data and finding out what is that thing, what is that action that people have to take to make them become a successful customer, to make them more likely to come back, to make them more likely to renew, to buy again, whatever that thing is we're trying to create here. So for example, maybe with Xero, and I don't know if this is the case, but maybe with Xero, for example, this is that they know when a bank account has been connected, that customer is significantly more invested in the platform. They can see all of their data, they can see all of their analytics, so they're now much more likely to actually sign up for a paid plan. So what Xero would want to do here, and you'll see an example here on their kind of welcome screen where they've got an onboarding video that walks them through how to integrate their bank account. So this is where you really want to think about how can we remove as much friction as possible to get customers to take that action that we know unlocks the value from our product, to then get them to either buy more often, to sign up for a paid plan, to sign up for a higher plan, whatever that kind of ascension step is that we would want them to take from there. So now coming on to the ascend stage, this is where we've got this person to sign up. They've maybe bought from us before, so we've got them on our email list. This is where in the case of Xero, they have these email marketing campaigns that over time are kind of educating people on how to get the best use out of the platform, the onboarding steps they should go through to really begin unlocking the value. And in conjunction with these email campaigns, they can also retarget all of the people who have signed up for a free trial with specific offers, like get 75% off your first 3 months, for example, to make it even more likely that person is going to come back and sign up for a paid plan. So there's lots of things you can do here. Again, retargeting people based on the stage of the journey they are at through all channels you've got available to you, whether that be through phone, if you've got the customer's phone number at this stage, through email, through retargeting campaigns on different platforms, to really make sure you're unblocking and unlocking each stage of the journey. And what then happens over time, as people become power users of the platform, they start realizing all the additional things that they could potentially unlock by upgrading their plan. And hopefully, if Xero is working for them and their business is growing as a result of the help they're getting and the insights they're getting from Xero, naturally they're going to be ascending anyway, because they're going to be going on to the higher and higher plans. So this is where you just want to think about what are the steps that you can take here? What are those steps that are going to unlock more value for a potential customer to get them to, again, whether it be buy more often, whether it be to go on to a higher plan with you, to ascend them up that value ladder. So some of the KPIs that you might be tracking here are, for example, your upgrade rate. So how many people are upgrading their plan, a free trial to paid subscription rate, your average contract value. If you're in e-commerce, this might be your lifetime customer value, and I'll show you an example of that in a sec. But this is the kind of KPIs that you'd want to be tracking at the ascension stage. So now to come on to the promote stage here. So there's a few different activities you could be running here, right? But you'll see a few examples of Xero where they have, firstly, they've got a referral scheme. So limited time referral offer, refer and earn £50 if they refer a new customer to them. One of the other things they do that's really smart actually is they have customer spotlights. So they're actually interviewing their customers, showcasing their business. So the way they position it to their customers is, hey, we're going to give you free publicity on your business. But at the same time, that customer is then becoming a promoter and an advocate of Xero. So it's really important here to think about how can you put this in the interest of your customers. If you just go to your customers and say, hey, can you leave us a review? What's in it for them? Right? Can you incentivize that somehow? Can you make it more exciting for them? Because in this instance, Xero is able to showcase their customers to give them more exposure because Xero have got a huge audience, right? So it potentially means they're able to grow their business in the process, as well as Xero benefiting from that because they've got a free case study and testimonial out of it. They also share things like this on their Instagram where they're interviewing their customers, where their customers are sharing tips and things like that. So again, it's creating that social proof, that FOMO from other business owners where they're seeing, like-minded business owners in similar industries, other dropship Debbies who are on this journey and successfully using the platform. So it makes me far more likely to want to sign up. So let's now come on to another example in the D2C space for an e-commerce brand. So we've got a business here called Balmy World who sell these kind of hand drums. And the way they promote this is actually to a lot of parents because they've been shown to have benefits for kids where they actually help kids relax and unwind. So we've got a persona here that we're calling Mummy Mandy. The channel we're going to be using is Meta. And the medium is going to be paid ads. So we're going to be running paid ads on platforms like Facebook and Instagram to this persona we've created called Mummy Mandy. So you'll see here that what Balmy World are doing, which is really smart, is they're running these informational ads. So these ads at this stage aren't designed to sell. And again, this is really important at this discover stage because When Mummy Mandy's browsing through her Instagram feed and her Facebook feed, she doesn't want to be sold to. But she has a problem that our product can solve. So instead, what we're doing is we're just running these educational posts talking about, hey, did you know that there's these drums out here that can actually create calm, and they use healing frequencies to reduce stress and anxiety in your kids. So this is very kind of soft educational content. We're not going in with any hard sell here. And as KPIs at this stage, we can be looking at things like testing different forms of content, different videos, different headlines, different hooks, and testing like the click-through rate. Like what's getting the best click-through rate? What's getting the best video view rate? What's getting the best dwell time? So, how good are we at kind of hooking people from stopping them scrolling in their feed to actually watching through and engaging with this content? We're then driving them through here, not to a shop page, but actually what we call an advertorial. So this is effectively still an ad in disguise, because what we're doing here is we're, again, treating this as informational content. So you'll see here they're leveraging stories. So my son suffered from severe anxiety until a friend told me about a miraculous musical instrument. Since he started playing it, he sleeps like a log every night. So they're really speaking into, and again, this is where you'll just want to think about who is this persona we want to target with this. They're really speaking into a desired end outcome that their persona has. And this goes into kind of telling this whole story, how it works, and you'll see they're then presenting offers within this piece of content. There's actually a link here so you can check out this page and see exactly how this advertorial is presented. These can be very, very powerful mechanisms for D2C brands, for e-commerce stores. Again, where we're not going in with a hard sell and just driving someone through to a product page, but we're using that informational content to build that trust, to build that credibility through telling stories, and almost like a case study to then make a case to get someone to click through to the product. So again, the same kind of KPIs here, right? Engagement rate, time on page, average scroll depth. So we're going to be looking at our visitor behavior analytics to see what can we move, what can we change, where are we losing most people on the page. Maybe we can add some more images here to make it more engaging, to get people to actually see more of the content and then see our call to action so they can actually then come through to the website. Now, when people do come through to the website, they also have a sign up stage. So again, for the people who maybe aren't ready to buy just yet, they've now read about the product, they've now learned about it, and we can now have a call to action that says, hey, grab 60% off. So even if I'm not ready to buy right now, this is a really great kind of introductory offer to get me to kind of sign up for something so they can get my email address. What they then do here is, again, they can do this through retargeting campaigns, so they can retarget people who visited this page across like Google Display Network or across Meta again, and then actually bring me through to the product page itself. So it might be that I come all the way through here and actually buy straight away, because this is going to be a lower value purchase, a less complex purchase than the example of zero we saw earlier, but you'll still want to have retargeting layers. So again, the different bits you're using and how often people go through these stages will vary depending on the complexity of the buying cycle. For some businesses where they're selling a very, very high value product or service with a complex buying cycle, people might be going through this kind of connect and sign up stage for several months, right? Consuming lots of pieces of content, sharing it with their colleagues, signing up for different webinars and information and resources and things like that before they even get to the stage they're ready to sign up. So again, how quickly people move through this buyer journey, it's going to be very dependent on the complexity of the buying cycle you have. So in this instance, it might be that we're able to move people straight through here because it's less of a considered purchase. But this will vary depending on what you're selling and your target audience for that. So people have now come through to this product page, and then we're going to basically at this stage, the excite stage is going to be getting them through to that checkout and getting them to actually buy. Now, this is a very, very often overlooked part, particularly in e-com stores, where the excitement is going to significantly wear off as soon as people hit the checkout, because this is where that pre-buyer's remorse kicks in, right? They're thinking, do I really need this? It's probably not going to work. And most businesses just completely overlook this. One of the things that Barmy World could do better here, and one of the things we've seen working really well with our clients, is on the actual checkout pages, putting testimonials again on here. So having testimonials from parents saying, the Barmy World drum has been an absolute game changer for our kids. They've been sleeping better. It's helped their anxiety, that kind of thing. So when I'm at this stage, when I'm being asked for my credit card details, it's really reaffirming that decision for me to make this purchase. This also applies to other businesses where you're maybe generating leads online, or you've got a sign up form here, having testimonials on that sign up form, because even when you're asking for somebody's email address or their phone number, that is still a very high commitment step. And a lot of the time people are going to be seeing that and thinking, do I really want to give my details? Do I really want to be bombarded by a salesperson? So using testimonials on that page, whether it be a sign up page, whether it be a checkout page, can really help to just increase the chances that somebody is going to go ahead with that conversion interaction. So the KPIs we can be tracking here in this Ecom example are things like the abandoned cart rate, the average order value. So, do we have order bumps and things like that at the checkout where we can potentially upsell people and increase the average order value by exciting them and getting them to, add more things onto their purchase. And then finally from here is going to be the ascend stage. And in the case of Barmy World here, you'll see they're using lots of email content to nurture customers over time. They can sell them into more products. They offer them content. So you've got a free songbook here. So they're really starting to, even after somebody has purchased, to continue to nurture that person and get them to the stage where they're either buying more things from them more often, or at least then getting to the stage where they're becoming advocates for the brand so they can then help promote the brand. And in the example of Barmy World here, one of the really smart things they do, and I don't know if they do this intentionally, but it looks like they maybe even ask their customers when they receive the product to share, their kids playing them on social media. Right, so they're then and tagging Barmy World. One of the things you can actually do here to incentivize this again is to say, hey, if you share your clips on social media and tag us, you'll be entered into a competition to win XYZ product. So again, they're incentivizing that step, getting their customers to share. They can then reshare all these stories. They can potentially run ads against them to just enhance that, get their customers promoting the product, and this just creates additional social proof for other customers now coming in from the beginning of this journey. So once you've created this, the idea is that this should ultimately become a repeatable process that you can use to, again, take people who don't know about your brand, to get them to buy in higher amounts or more often, to then get them to becoming advocates and promoters of your business. And then over time, you can start to create new journeys for different segments of your customer audience. You can create different channels, right? So for example, for Barmy Drum, this is an example of a social channel using paid ads on Meta, but another channel might also be like zero organic search, where people are typing in how to help with my kids' anxiety, how to help my kids relax and unwind, and maybe they have some blog content, maybe they have some YouTube content. So you can create different entry points and different systems and frameworks to take different personas through a journey to turn them into buyers. So again, I'll be linking out to this framework below this video in the description. So to make sure you go on there and grab your copy of this, feel free to watch this video back if you need to and use some of these examples to begin filling out your own customer journey here and mapping out these key stages, tracking those KPIs at each of the stages to identify where the blockers are and what you can begin unplugging. And if you would like some help creating a customer journey for your business, or you're struggling to maybe track some of these stages, there will be a link in the description below this video where you can book a free discovery call with one of my team to go through your current website and marketing, and we will give you some very practical next steps that you can take to really begin unlocking and unplugging those bottlenecks in your marketing to take your results to the next level. Now in this next video coming up, I'm going to be showing you how you can start monitoring the conversion rate on your website at those connect and those convert stages to begin unlocking more conversions from your website. I'll see you there.